Alright guys, welcome back here to Kings of the Storm Weekly number 10. I am Solid Jake.
And I'm Kubi.
And I am Ron Burgundy. Oh, oh.
I was like, all right, I got to do that voice, so I don't know what we're doing, but it's happening.
It's good. Hoff continues to be Hoff, and Cat continues
Of course,
to
Jake
be
is
Cat.
referring to the ridiculous amount of snow outside. It's not too bad yet, but like we said, it's going to snow through Tuesday. That sounds awful. I hope you guys aren't in the snowstorm, too. It's just us. Just New England problems, right?
Just New England things. Cursed Hollow Salty Runback will be happening.
Yes.
We are presently waiting for a link to the Stormcraft.
Yep. All right, so let's theorycraft a little bit about what they should do to change their strategy up. And it's kind of a tough question to ask because things were going pretty well for them. I mean, they were a bit behind. They got a couple good team fights. They brought themselves very close. The game was almost dead even at that last point. Had they stolen that goal, they probably could have won the game. Like it was like they were like, we're gonna gamble this play.
The game definitely would have continued.
It would have continued, but they would have had double golems pushing.
It wouldn't have ended the game, but it opens up so many.
It puts
doors.
a massive amount of pressure on Barrel Boys. That's
it
double golem.
You're right.
Pushing down both lanes on the keeps.
It's true.
And that's a huge amount of pressure. It's basically like, how do we even split the defense up? If Vortex decides to push with one of them, then we have to go up there to respond to that. The other golem is going to take that other keep.
That's a good point.
Opens the door up to the game ending with the next team fight. So I get why they did it. Of course, it was a big risk, didn't pay off for them, but that's how close the game was essentially. So it's like, what kind of advice do you even give them, like to change their strategy up? Because you can't really say that their composition was bad at all. Like it was working.
Yeah, true. Very true. I'm just going to ask these guys for a Stormcraft link because we are waiting for that.
I mean, I'm just looking at things that can go wrong with what they had. They had Nazebo. He got enough value out of his. Wow, that is some link there.
I assume it's
2047. Okay, so I mean, like they got enough value out of their Nazebo.
Yep.
Right. They probably could have used maybe a bit more range stuns to deal with EDC, but he was picked so late in the composition that it was too hard to react. Like they kind of needed Nazebo. I mean, they needed Zeratul at that point to really round out the rest of their style. So.
Okay, so they have actually been going. So we just actually didn't get the link out of them. So the draft did begin while we have been killing time. And it looks like the first ban went out onto Tassadar, followed by a ban on Stitches. Kerrigan was picked up first here, and then followed up by a Vala Nazebo for Vortex.
Yeah, so I'm noticing that Cloud9 gave up first pick, first ban. So aside from the whole Stitches situation, what that really lets you do is pick up two very strong DPS dealers in your first two grabs. Like that's really why teams do it. They want to grab a lot of stuff at once to like make that denial play. And so, but once again, Barrel Boys is allowed to take Kerrigan. And that's always going to be a huge factor in those team fights.
You don't want to let him have Kerrigan, but you also don't want to allow them to have Stitches. So it's a tough call.
And I mean, his Ultras did a lot of fight. I mean, like I'm not going to say that McIntyre made any bad plays at all last game. Like he was playing fine, but it didn't ever seem to be the massive impact in a lot of the team fights.
No, but
they had some really nice dances, and that helped a lot.
It's still something you have to constantly play around.
For sure. I won't say that like it was such a problem in the last game, though, that they necessarily need to ban it out. They actually dealt with it fairly well. So
it's a good point. It's a good point to make.
Good for them to have that in there, but I wouldn't say it's at this point like a necessary ban.
It's still a scary thing to have on the table.
For sure.
Now, Nazebo has been picked up here, and I expect they'll either grab Uther or Arthas to just try to deny one of those two heroes. Because, so they're going for ETC, so we're not going to see Arthas. But
it's a very early ETC pick.
Yeah, Uther, come on, it has to be Uther. Brightwing is great on this map, but...
Well, I would say Brightwing's almost going to be a denial thing. Like, Brightwing is a very heavy counter to ETC. And...
It's a good point, but I think overall, Uther
can set up for the dances quite a bit better.
So they go with Brightwing. They do go with Brightwing. All right. Well, I mean, there's a very high probability of seeing Uther and Arthas picked up here. A very standard composition out of Barrel Boys.
Could be Rhaegar.
True.
I think Rhaegar is a possibility. Rhaegar into Rhaegar Arthas.
I'm not used to that life of seeing Rhaegar frequently, but I mean.
Actually, no.
I think Divine Storm and just like the amount of It's tough to say.
We're in a situation where Kerrigan's not actually going to be that much in anyone's faces where they really need to pick up Rhaegar. She's probably going to go Ultros once again.
Okay, so
They pick
up Muradin because Ravenous
helps deal with Nazebo and DTC.
Yeah,
I think it's a good pickup for both of those. And who do they grab for a healer? Yeah, Uther's probably the best choice.
Rhaegar. It's not going to be Malf. You have to weigh the pros and cons because you have Kerrigan in the front line, and yeah, ancestral healing is massive, and that can make or break a fight. But you also have to look at the power of Divine Storm.
It's gonna be Malf
paired with. Okay,
I was thinking Tranquility. I was like, they need a lot of healing.
It's just like when they don't have anything to really pair. They like having the pairs for the Kerrigan. Kerrigan.
That's true.
Since they don't have Arthas, Nazebo's or Muradin's great, and Muradin's a good counter to Nazebo as well, so he has the multi-purpose there. But Uther just having that Primal Grass in, and then you just smack him with the hammer out of Uther. A lot of synergy, and we're seeing Sergeant Hammer as a final pick. Cursed Hollow.
I can't say that Hammer was really in a bad spot.
No, remember that one tribute positioning?
Yeah, that was really nice. The denial play was really good there.
Good.
I'm coming around to it a little bit more.
Yeah, I like it
and,
a lot, honestly.
a lot of people or a lot of teams had just been sort of shying away from investing too heavily into Hammer practice because of the map issues that she was having. But especially now that we can pick the maps before going into these tournaments, which is, I mean, to say that was a long time ago that we couldn't. But
True.
Now that you know what map that you're on, she saw a lot more play in Dragonshire, and then people have just been messing around with her more and more, getting more comfortable with her. And now that we're not in the burst type meta, it used to be maybe a month and a half ago, we were in a situation where it was if you don't kill the other team within 10 seconds, you're going to lose, right? So both teams were sort of racing to do that, and everything was burst, burst, burst. Hammer doesn't really fit into that type of play style. She provides consistent sustained damage. I was trying to mash those two words together. Constained. I almost came out of my mouth. And I was like, that's not right. But yeah, it is consistent sustained damage, and over time, especially when those long tribute fights that really drag on, she shines.
Yeah.
And she's seeing a lot more play than she used to, which is it's cool. It's cool to see.
Well, we are going back to Cursed Hollow for the salty run back.
Yep.
And the score is presently 1-0 in favor of Barrel Boys.
That it is.
Teams have swapped sides, and I will get that fixed here. But Kubi, why don't you introduce
Absolutely.
our
On
team
the
for
blue
us?
side, the team just narrowly losing last game to a very close situation, stealing the boss. We have on the blue side for Cloud9 Vortex, Bobby Hankhill on Vala, Rarjar on ETC, Syracuse is going to be playing Nazebo, Nirak on Brightwing, Cathan Luck on Sergeant Hammer.
The battle begins.
Jake doing some production things, so I will introduce Barrel Boys on the red side. We do have McIntyre on Kerrigan, Fury is going to be on Muradin, Fan on Zeratul, Blinks is going to be playing Uther, and Trummel on Tychus.
All right. Just in time for the game, things have been normalized, and we are, again, on the salty run back. Brightwing grabbing their watchtower, Tychus grabbing their respective watchtower. And teams have swapped sides, so sometimes that's all they say. It's we just prefer being on the left. And maybe Vortex is you know what? Blue is better than red, which is actually a fact. It's a scientific fact that blue is better than red. And, yeah, and they're just going for that. Now, body blocking here, as they like to do. Nirak. I actually just bought my Brightwing Master skin.
You're the Brightwing Master. I thought you always had that skin. What is this? Are you a fraud, Jake?
I haven't always been a big fan of it, but this tint I decided is worth 10k gold. I was sitting on 40k gold, and I was like, you know what? I have to do something with this. I gotta buy at least one skin. So now I'm back down to 30k gold. I'm worried that they're gonna release another money pig or something, and I just want to make sure I have enough of a,
cushion to buy that 30k money pig that has armor on it.
Don't even go there. That's too exciting.
All right, let's talk about some of these talents. Actually, this two that I want to talk about for Fury, he's on Muradin. He did end up grabbing that. Perfect Storm there, which is the 5 extra damage for every hero that is hit. So that's we'll pay attention to that. He's probably going to be going for a full Storm Bolt build. And Block was grabbed for Zeratul. So that seems to be getting a little bit more traction, even not necessarily on Vortex. A lot more Zeratuls have been picking up that block for that extra sustainability. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I should actually have this on the screen for you guys so you can look at it. So apologies for that here. And pretty standard stuff across the board. Now the rotation composition is going up here into the top lane, and Nirak is going to get blown up right quick. Fan got very low, but the heal's coming out from Uther, and that's a first blood going to the side of Barrel Boys.
Yes, and that means they're going to get level 4 just a little bit ahead of Vortex. We can talk about some of those talents grabbed. What is jumping out at me? We do have Protective Shield on Brightwing there, full auto attack build for Sergeant Hammer, full multi-shot build for Vala, and on the side of Barrel Boys things, we have Venom on Kerrigan. Yep, that full Stormbolt build for Murd in there, and anything else interesting? Yeah, the Melting Point, Protective Shield on Uther. Nothing too crazy here. Full rotation coming up to this top lane here. It looks as though there's going to be a pretty big dive onto the top lane. Nope, they are turning back around. I want to make sure they continue to get that soak so they don't fall behind in that experience race.
Yeah, Brightwing got their first bribe stack here. That's something that will continue to happen. This first tribute has spawned. Those mines going to get cleaned up here by Fury, and really just we have a lot of heroes posturing here in the top lane now. Vortex is going to keep one hero mid, one hero bottom, so they're not really going to be even trying to contest this, just giving it up to McIntyre, who's going to grab it freely.
Full soak for Vortex there, so that's helping them catch up in that experience, which is very, very close at this point. Just like, you know, one more wave would probably get them back to even.
We see this aggression here. McIntyre sitting there in his bat form, waiting around, looking for that gank opportunity. As Bobby Hanko steps forward, Fan's going to go in, but McIntyre continuing to hold his position.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to get that pick off on Vala. You really have to get a situation where she extends a little bit too far forward into the lane, uses Vault to, say, escape from Zeratul, and then Kerrigan jumps in to get the dive into Primal Grasp and Pale combo, which will definitely kill her, but you have to really get the Vala to overextend in that situation.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with the Vault there. Now, this Watchtower being held still by Barrel Boys right now, and they're actually going to be going forward and grabbing these Giants, the offensive Giants, a really cheeky
No
play.
way. He really knows about this? Vala is going up to contest this, or at least to check the situation out.
Okay.
Oh, she found out. It's going to be a little bit too late, though, and that is a 2v1 situation. But we do have the Brightwing coming in.
This is really bad. This is really bad. Both of them are so out of position. Nirak getting blown up almost immediately. Dwarf getting in his face, blinking on forward. Is going to be Zeratul. Nirak will fall, and that is a pickup on both the Giants and a gank. And meanwhile, this tribute will likely get picked up, but Tychus is going to stall.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that was a situation where I think they were planning on giving up the tribute, right? But then they're like, all right, we'll just take these Giants. They got a couple kills out of it. Rarjar wasn't capping the tribute during that little gank situation that was happening for Barrel Boys there, and now they're going to get a second curse. And I think at this point we can very easily say that Barrel Boys is considerably in the lead here.
Yeah, 2 tributes have been picked up, so they're 1 away from the first curse of the game right now. We have Cthulhu Luck and Syracuse just smacking away at this top lane. Experience is advantaged by a full level ahead here for the Barrel Boys.
Yeah, and didn't get too much of a chance to talk about some of these level 7 talents. We have Gidbin from Syracuse on Gazebo there. Regenerative Reigns this time for Brightwing. I forget what Nirak tends to favor, whether it's Regenerative Reigns or Gust of Healing.
He's actually very flexible. Sometimes he goes Cleanse. He's actually all over the place.
Sure.
Nirak is a very seasoned right-wing player, and he actually alternates a lot.
Absolutely.
So opting for Regenerative Reigns this game, which is pretty much him saying he's not worried about having a ton of burst healing. He just wants basically the free additional healing throughout the game.
All right, so does that point to Blink Heal or Emerald Wind? What do you think?
I think it points to Emerald Wind, personally.
But
time will tell. Because, again, a lot of preference comes out here.
Yeah, so Vortex in this situation, they're really hoping that they can just stall out for this next tribute. If it spawns now, it's going to be a big problem for them because Barrel Boys has that level 10 advantage over them. We can actually see them getting a little bit aggressive. The tribute is spawning just now in the bottom lane. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get enough experience. It's going to be really close. And this is going to give Barrel Boys a huge leg up in terms of positioning because they have to stay in all these lanes to make sure they get the soak. They are about to hit level 10.
We're talking the immobility of Hammer as being a big problem too.
Yeah, I think they have to give this up.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to find Curse Fury here. 4 of them here in the top. Are they going to even be able to pick up the kill? Stage dive going in. Isn't enough. Strafe being used as well, knocking him on back. So that's going to be a pickup on a kill. They should be able to clean up these bruisers as well, but they are cursed in the process. And we see that how many heroics were used? 3 heroics were used during that. Or excuse me, just 2 because of the Napalm Strike.
Look at this rotation. Zeratul's in the area. He's going to have that Void Prison set up. Are they going to try and... No, they're not. Okay. Dan's just sort of keeping an eye on, keeping the tabs in the situation. I mean, that's why we saw Vortex in this situation in the first place, is that they really wanted to They say, okay, we're going to let them take that last tribute. We're going to take their boss in this situation.
Is Fan going to try to...
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to try and steal it or just get a large amount of people in the VP itself. Either would be fine.
He's going to steal it. Yeah,
oh.
Knock
him off? They got it.
Enough. Yeah, he's going to steal it. He had plenty of time, unlike that last game where Bobby Hankel was very much rushing in with no vision whatsoever.
Yeah.
Kerrigan was keeping an eye on, checking on the health bar status there, and he's able to steal it. Nicely done, very clean, and they go from having a pretty nice pickup on that first hero to turning this around entirely and getting a lot of use out of this curse.
Yeah, that's a pretty good dodge there from KotS. I think he will be able to get out of this situation. No, they're applying a lot of pressure. I think that's going to be it. Yep.
Yeah, that Zero Tool burst is real, and well, just talking about the heroics in general, we didn't really get to talk about that a bit.
That's
Emerald
true.
Wind was picked up. We do see Napalm Ravenous, Stage Dive.
Stage Dive, yeah, that's probably the most interesting one to talk about. I mean, we mentioned it before on the previous map when they did grab E2C, where possibility for there to be a situation where that mobility is super important, right? To be able to dive across the map. So essentially, it's like, why did they grab this? Well, you have to look at the amount of stuns that are available on the other team, right? You have Muradin with the Stormbolt, Kerrigan, Uther, Tychus's grenade. There's just too many options to stun out the mosh pit, right? So you may as well just do something where you can get some guaranteed value out of it and go for that stage dive.
Talk about value. Look at this Golem. He is just going to town now. We actually saw Marder going with the stage dive. I saw something on the left side of the screen, and I was actually quite confused. That was him leaping into the
yes,
air,
it was.
straight going to town here on Fury. Fury taking a lot of damage. That Odin is going to fall one more hit. There it goes. And they managed to defend here, but they did pretty much lose that keep. I mean, it is quite low.
It's pretty low. I thought that was actually a bit of an overextension on ETC's part at that stage. I was like, oh, he's going in there. But yeah, the follow-up was there from Brightwing to get that Emerald Wind to push people out. It was just sort of a stall tactic, and it worked pretty well to make sure that they kept that keep alive. And we saw a bit of a party bush set up from Barrel Boys there to no avail. Vortex isn't falling for that one. They're going to back up. They're going to take their Giants. What do you want to see Vortex doing right now to sort of jump back into this game?
I think they need to posture for a party bush near their boss. They know that's the last thing available on the map. I think they just need to get into position there. The Bruisers are respawning, but Fan is already scouting this out. Like, they expect this being a possibility. Fan's going to see this, so they know exactly what's happening. So these Bruisers are the safe option. They're going to clean them up, and if... Like, I mean, these lanes are so far pushed forward that there is actually zero vision in this entire part of the map out of Vortex, so they really can't do anything safely.
And it looks like they are going to be giving up the Boston situation. We still see Fan until they have vision of the rest of the team. He's going to chill down there just to make sure that that boss isn't going to get capped. And now they can see that they are pushing up mid with those Knights, and we do have that tribute spawning in top lane.
Fan just kind of unloading his cooldowns onto KotS, doing a good chunk of damage. Trummel having a bit of a hiccup, but he's back in the game here. And, well, it looks like this is actually be completely forfeited, and they're making their way down to the boss. So Vortex showed they wanted to contest there. Now they've left. Fan catches wind of this.
Mad dash to the bottom. Oh, no, I thought he was going to... They said, all right, we're going to give this one up here. And, they're just going to go clean up this keep. It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah, that keep is going to fall very quickly. This boss is almost dead. As soon as it falls, we're going to see a full-on Hearth. They know what's happening. They can see it. So the boss is capped. Hearth comes out. Keep does fall, and they're going to pressure this middle keep.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think they were going to try to push this. I mean, what this really does is try to minimize the effectiveness that that bottom golem is going to have. Really, it's going to, if anything, maybe get to the fort. I don't even know if it will. If it will kill the fort, right? Yeah. So a nice little distraction tactic there from Barrel Boys just to try to minimize the damage. Like this, okay, we can try to fight them, and that's sort of a gamble a little bit because we don't know if we're going to exactly win that fight, even though we do have those 16 talents over them. Cool idea. I liked it.
Speaking of those 16 talents, I mean, pretty standard stuff, but the big point to make is they have a talent advantage right now.
Which points to a lot of sustainability, especially, I mean, Kerrigan with the Blood for Blood, Stone Form on Muradin. You got Stone Skin on Tychus and the opposing presence. Like, all of that is just like extra sustain and a little bit of CC applied to the enemy team. The only one that's getting an actual power spike is on Zeratul, but it's a big one, right? That double singularity spike is a huge deal.
And Singularity Spike can just blow people up, especially when they've been looking at that hammer constantly, just like leaping onto KotS, unloading all those cooldowns, and getting a lot of work done, but you make double Singularity Spikes and it gets a bit scary. Now, 2 tributes given up for free. Vortex knows they can't fight without 16, and they're playing scared and just farming across the map.
Right, yeah, their boss is up in about 30 seconds. I think that's probably why we see them posturing in that situation. So they're probably going to try to keep control of this area just to make sure that Vortex isn't trying to do anything cheeky. And they're pushing out those Giants top lane, but are they going to try to capitalize on it? No, not so much.
I like this.
Yeah, this is good. He's got the mobility, so he can be down there.
He can do whatever he wants, but they're well aware that he's down here. He's just going to be farming up this lane, trying to get them towards that level 16. This boss is going to be picked up here by Barrel Boys, and Vortex is on a full-on defensive position even still. They saw Zeratul recently. They know they might be trying to set up for a Void Prison, and they want none of that.
I like this situation here, especially it's nice that for Vortex that this tribute has spawned bottom. They're going to have to give up this boss, but essentially this will deny Barrel Boys from getting an actual curse to push forward, and it's pretty safe for ETC to be down there, of course.
Yep, so that tribute will be picked up right here, putting one on the board for Vortex. We see this big rotation coming down. Syracuse is going to have to use his sprint to get on out of here, just kind of zoning with that napalm strike, and they're going to be on full-on retreat status. The timer on this boss still 2 minutes and a half.
Yep.
Rajar is going to be hearthing back to base. They know that the aggression could be coming on this middle lane, and they are just going to be in full-on retreat. Right wing is actually staying around because she can phase shift back on over.
Yep. This is it's kind of a tricky situation. I think that if they really want to put all their effort, Vortex, into defending this boss, they're going to have to give up a good chunk of the HP on this keep, which it's really a tricky situation for them. So it's a good rotation on Barrel Boy's part. It's smart. I think they're going to end up. Yes, I like the siege situation for Chthon, but I really would like to see ETC a little bit more forward just to protect him. I think it's very important in terms of DPS output that Chthon stays alive and in the position that he's in.
I mean, they're going to defend this boss. The boss has made its way through the shielding of that core, so the core has taken some damage, 77% already.
And the catapults are still pushing, right? It's a big deal.
That's a big story, 67% now. Like, that's something they just can't leave uncontested. But we see the Ultralisk going in onto this keep. They want to blow it up. It will get melted very quickly. Kerrigan goes in, gets the combo onto Rajar. Rewind combo again, but Rajar's sustain is real. A big Void Prison goes down. The keep has fallen, and they're looking to try to end this. But that huge Polymorph, the stage dive is going to secure that kill. No, not quite. Dwarf Toss after it has been popped. His health is regenerating so quickly. They're going to try to get the combo. There it is. They get him knocked out, blown up. Bandit, does he have Bolt of the Storm? Not level 20 yet, so no, he does not. Looking for it. Bolt's still on cooldown, so that's a second kill picked up. And in the top part, we see Blinks is just kind of full-on retreating. They've split across the map. McIntyre running that way. Trommel going down. They're just dispersing across the map, and that's going to be...
Yeah, so they even up the tributes here in this situation. I see that, yeah, Trumbull's bottom lane now with Tychus, and they're probably going to just grab these Giants. So Vortex, if they pick up another tribute here, that's going to be a curse for them, and that's going to allow them to really catch up in terms of the structures. They're pretty far behind, actually really far behind, when you consider that they just have the one keep left alive. But they really need to capitalize on this next curse and put a huge dent. I would really like to see them push heavy down one lane, try to find a situation where they can get a kill or two up. I mean, obviously that's always the goal, but if they can get that kill, they really should push down one of the keep lanes, just kill the keep. I mean, yeah, just to get that pressure on one of the lanes.
Unfortunately, they really need to get a team wipe. They really need to get a team wipe and a curse, and like that'll put them back in this game. But it's not even enough to really end the game because they have to go through the forest.
It doesn't have to be a team wipe. I mean, this next tribute, right? All right, if they get an advantage in the fight, they'll get a curse and they can push hard with it. If it ends up being an even fight and they still get the curse, they can only hope to just take the forts, right?
All right, well, they are pushing on in, and this is good, taking out that wall with the Bruiser Camp here in the front line, trying to set up some aggression available after this tribute. I like the positioning there on those Bullhead mines. They're just going to be a bit of an annoyance for the moment, but that's going to be a cooldown for a little while here. McIntyre trying to cap the curse early, not going to happen. I love the position here from Rajar, going in, dashing forward, not going to do anything here, just kind of scaring them out. Fury looking to do just the same on the other side, and this is actually a huge point in the game. This could make or break the game. If Cloud9 bungles this, it could be it.
Check Fan's positioning here. He's setting up on the flank. He really wants to try to get that Void Prison to knock people out of the fight for just a couple seconds there, but it can make all the difference in terms of isolating people and focusing them down. See the Barrel Boys is sort of just poking at that. Yep, Fan going in, just being annoying with that wormhole. He can blink in and then blink out within another second and a half.
This sustained damage on Chthon Lug is really just being used so well right now. The Ravenous goes off, and they pick up a kill on Kerrigan. That is absolutely massive. Trouble is going to have to pop Thor if he wants to live through this. Syracuse looking for the damage. Chthon Lug uses the damage as well. Stage Dive goes in, chooses to go onto Blinks and not Trouble here. The phase shift going on in big on Polymorph. And it's a retreat here. This is what they need.
Okay, so Vortex needs to just sustain themselves here, get Chthon Luck up to full HP, and they need to push hard down one of the lanes. Probably, I would say mid. Honestly, well,
Wow.
No, that's not entirely true.
They're
Because
playing defensively.
actually, you want to take one of the lanes that has the golem pushing down it. So I'm not sure about taking the golem right now. I think that they should have pushed hard, kill the keep, then you can try to back up and take the golem after a team fight. But they need to open up the opportunity to win the game off of a team fight, right? If they don't have the structures pushed forward, then yeah, they can even do a team wipe after the curse is gone, but it won't be the end of the game. So I think that they really should have set that situation up for themselves.
Well, the curse, I mean, this is their first curse of the game, if I believe, and only has 20 seconds remaining. This boss should be able to get this fort without much of an issue. Bruisers picked up here by Barrel Boys, and they're just posturing to pick up another boss here.
It's a very passive way to go about this curse, and I can't say I agree with it. I'm not really liking it that much. Yeah, this boss is going to get probably this fort, and they're going to cap the other boss, which will probably also get a fort. But they were in a situation where they could have very easily taken a fort and a keep.
I agree, but maybe their plan is, look, we have that, and now we'll just push with this boss. But I think Barrel Boys is well aware that's their plan, and they're just going to counter push on in towards that core. Going to bypass this keep, maybe? No, they know this is happening.
They're just trying to get them to pull back in this situation. So, yeah, that boss is going to end up getting that fort top. It's not going to push through the keep walls. And the same for the bottom one. It's another cheeky play from Barrel Boys here just to force the positioning of Vortex.
Well, if anything is true, it's the fact that they have caught back up in experience. They're actually in the lead to level 20, and that is definitely a nice victory to have. We see that Barrel Boys are rotating around to take care of this golem before it can do too much damage to this back wall. But they finally put some pressure on the map.
Yeah, and they're going to split push here. They're going for that bottom keep. This is something that they really needed to do. They needed to make sure fans just being really annoying, pushing out that last tower, making sure they're going to get full value out of those bruisers in that lane. And
I think they're thinking about going back. Oh, the stage dive. They say, look, no, I'll go back there. I'll defend this myself.
Yeah, look at this wave.
And
huge amount of damage.
They know that the tank isn't there, so they're going on in. Immediately, a polymorph comes out onto Fury.
Wow.
They're disengaging with the Emerald Wind. Strafe doing a lot of work. Fury's able to pop the first aid to stay alive here. The Ravenous Spirit in the back line, but will it get interrupted? Yes, Kerrigan gets that Primal Grasp. Flanks. Gonna end up falling. Divine Storm goes out, but that's gonna pick up Syracuse. Chthon Luck in a bad spot. The Bullhead Mines, are they enough? No, the Dwarf Toss keeping him in the front line. And, they actually pick off Kerrigan in the back line. Bobby hand kill. Can he trade out Trumbull as well?
Oh!
So close.
A lot is going to be riding on that kill there. They really needed an advantage, and if they were able to pick up a 3-for-1 or something to that effect, that would have really helped to sustain them. And as it is, we see Karis Ferry is really pushing far forward. Fan is like in a really dicey situation here.
The Bolt of the Storm in from Tychus is going to get the 1 and 2 kill, yes, with
Bararchar coming in.
I don't know if it's enough. The Odin goes off. There goes Nirak. Odin will keep them alive. Rarjar is actually in the bad spot too here. The stuns, if they hit, the Stormbolt, where is it? He's looking for it. He's holding on to it. There it goes, securing that hit, blinking on in, Singularity Spikes, and that's going to be a ace.
Yeah, they ended up trading there, 5 for 2. I mean, it's unfortunate. They were a bit hesitant in terms of the start of the fight, but just not having ETC, he stage dived out of the situation to try to deal with Zeratul and that push that was going down that lane, right? And then a huge fight erupted because they saw that he stage dived over, and now you're missing probably a more integral part of the team than maybe Zeratul is. They were still in a good situation. We saw a very nice Divine Storm coming out of Uther in there, and there was just a lot more stun and lockdown available to Barrel Boys in that fight than they really needed ETC there.
I mean, at this point, it's looking grim here. 20 seconds left on the death timer for ETC. 5 seconds to Brightwings back up. Curse is active, and all 5 members are pushing on in. Divine Storm goes off, securing that kill. And this is looking like good night here. It's going to be a 2-0 victory for the Barrel Boys.
Undefeated so far today. Looking pretty solid, I got to say. Now, I know it's kind of nitpicky because they ended up winning the game anyway. Do you think that they should have even risked taking that curse? Or should they just pushed in? They had a situation where all 5 members were dead, so it was 3-person to dive onto the core.
It was a convenient curse. If the curse was on the other side of the map, I'd say leave it. But since it was right there in the bottom left corner, they were already right there. I mean, may as well take it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not.
It worked out.
It
worked out for him. So.
But yeah, I mean, really good games here. But it looked pretty decisive by Barrel Boys. They're looking really strong today.
Everything has been pretty solid out of them. They've been staying consistently good throughout. They don't seem to have like a weak point, like time-wise in their
Right.
game, right? I'm not like, oh, these guys are pretty bad at the early game, but if they get to the late game, they can turn things around for themselves. It seems like they're pretty good through like every stage of the game, right? So it's
Can't
always
disagree.
cool to see a team with that sort of well-roundedness to them, and pretty good stuff too from Vortex. Those were both very close games, and they were very close to making a nice comeback in that situation. They had some situations where like they got a team advantage and they pushed forward.
Yeah.
I think that they probably could have changed their game plan up a little bit to force the situation by taking one of those keeps, but I mean they're in the hot seat for a reason. They're the good players, right? So we're only here to tell you the story, guys.
Very true. We'll get you guys some bracket updates right here. We can see that Barrel Boys will be advancing over Cloud9 Vortex, and I believe the series between Murlocs Inc. and Tempo Storm is over, but I don't know the result just yet. Team Heroes Hype did advance over Actions Per Minute in that Best of 1 series, and Evil Geniuses advanced over Vivid Gaming in that Best of 1. So they will be facing, it'll be Cloud9 Vortex versus Evil Geniuses in a Best of 1 for Losers Round 4, and then it'll be Team Heroes Hype versus the loser of Tempo and Murlocs, and we're going to try to get confirmation on that right now.
All right, let's see. I do see that Jared is out of the game, so he's not casting at the moment. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you. We'll have to find out in a little bit.
Rip.
Well, that said, I think we'll be moving on to casting the winners finals match next between Barrel Boys and either Tempo Storm or Murlocs Inc., depending on who won that series. So perhaps some potential for Asmodan Boys? I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, apparently Tempo Storm has been running the Asmodan, and if we do get to see that, I'm going to be giddy. Now, I know you guys have seen that in the other stream if you've been checking that out. So I'm very, very excited for the potential of that.
Should be cool. All right, so we'll go to a 5-minute break here. We'll try to get that game set up for you guys, and until then, stick around and don't go anywhere.